testing 1, 2, 3. We will just close this for a more standardized lighting experience. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Twilight Network, your one-stop for Onyx Path, for Chronicles of Darkness homebrewing, rules explanation, and a little bit of lore here and there. Hope you're all doing well today. I'll just get chat up. There we go. It's early today, and I've had a big week, so grateful to be with you all. Coming to you from Palawa land up here in the northern portion of the state, near Launceston. As always, we acknowledge the elders past, present and emerging who have shaped and led Tasmanian Aboriginal and Palawa success here. Oh. We have a demanding kitten and a few things to play through today. What we're going to be doing... Hello, Rita Chic. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be playing around with conspiracies. Good heavens, kitten, you are demanding. Look at this. This is Cat Cam. Now, this is a stream all about the cat, for the cat, and by the cat. It is definitely a conspiracy on her part to get all the love and attention. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Haha, the segues. We're going to be talking about conspiracies. Conspiracies are, for a Deviant Chronicle, your primary antagonistic force. People come to see you, you deviant little creature. And so we're going to be playing around with ideas related to deviants, what they do, who they are, that sort of thing. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Let's just check on center frame. Boop. Oh. And we'll probably start to build our own little conspiracy. Something that I haven't necessarily started yet, but will be able to be based on the some of the work that we've done before, and with our little character. Let's see. I actually found my original file for this, so I can show you what I had intended. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you? So, we can look at conspiracies, a conspiracy build. They've built this fella, who's an epimorph, a cephalist, and their concept is I am your friend. Average in physical stats, then boosted resistance, then presence, manipulation, and composure. This is an entity that wants to be your friend and will make you be their friend. Our homebrewed addition to Bleeding Hearts, and our homebrewed addition to Human Prey, along with a few other things. Their touchstones, so their convictions are things that they're working to destroy. They're the things that they hate. Their loyalties are the things that they love, etc., etc. We never really got onto variations with this fella. My word, kitten. So, within all of that, we have to start looking at conspiracies. Conspiracies are like I said, the core antagonistic force within your Deviant Chronicle. Conspiracies are interesting mechanically. If you're around for our mummy streams, you'll notice that conspiracies share a lot of traits with the cults and the cult build. Chronicles of Darkness effectively has a subsystem, oh dear kid, that is specifically designed to handle groups and how groups work. That has developed from Wealth of the Forsaken Pack mechanics through to Geist. Is kind of at its peak in Mummy, I think, and then is further developed into something extra for Deviant. So, I'll throw this out to you, chat. What is a conspiracy? Not just in the vague yet menacing government agency sort of sense, but what actually is is a conspiracy aiming to do? What are their goals? What are their intentions? And flick this around to here. Though it's looking like I'm the only person on. Yep, it's looking like I'm the only person on. So what a conspiracy fundamentally is a group that exists to cause harm. Fundamentally, in the case of you know groups within an intrigue sort of setting or a political intrigue sort of system, you're not looking at people who are seeking their own good and are using intrigue or manipulation, that sort of thing, to achieve their ends. Conspiracies are simple things in many ways. They are people who are seeking and grasping at stuff that they should not have. Um, or controlling things that maybe they shouldn't. For uh, many people within our world have a whole heap of conspiracy theories about how one particular group is trying to manipulate and control the media or something like that. That is what these conspiracies in Deviant are attempting to do. They are attempting to exert control over the Deviant themselves. Conspiracies are harsh, they are cruel, and they are often mirrors of a web of pain. The web of pain is a key idea within Deviant, and it is the networks between elements that have caused you pain, that have caused the um, the character pain, and will continue to do so. Conspiracies have a series of levels, following the standard Chronicles rules of 3s and 5s. Realistically, you have 5 basic, they put it as 4 basic standings. You have a conspiracy that has a very local influence, or is throughout a region but diverse. Think something within a city. Standings 3 to 5 is regionally influential. Think maybe a state or a country. In Australia, we would definitely say a state. There's just too much land. Or, if you're in Tassie, you may think of a couple of businesses that are ubiquitous to your area. You know, things like the only casino in town or something like that are the key things that make up these sorts of standing 3 to 5 conspiracies. Standing 6 to 8 are globally globally influential. These are Apple. These are not Apple. These are things like Panasonic, like Hyundai. These sorts of big companies that stretch out across the world, but only through influence. It's at standing 6 to 8 that the book suggests a conspiracy has a small presence in otherworldly places. That sort of thing is a human conspiracy with influence into vampire world, into mage world, into werewolf world, for example, or even into other conspiracies. Standing 9 to 10, global and ubiquitous or highly influential in otherworldly places. This sort of thing is Apple, or a changeling court, is what you're looking at here. Below this, you can see conspiracy standing, this thing called nodes, this thing called icons, attributes, traits, and conspiracy actions. These are the most basic elements of what a conspiracy is and does, and we'll go through them in time. Now, for our conspiracy that we actually started building when we started building the Deviant, is when we started building the conspiracy. This Deviant has a conspiracy standing of 2, reflective of its power set. Because of this, following the table here, conspiracy standing of 2, come on, no, there we go. Conspiracy standing of 2 means we get 5 base nodes, 5 icons, 10 attributes, a trait maximum of 5, and 1 conspiracy action that we can participate in. Conspiracies get to do a heap of things, which are, as pointed out, similar to pack actions or crew actions from Werewolf and Geist. They are the actions that you roll for on behalf of your conspiracy to see how they affect the world. The most important thing for conspiracies is to identify the goal. What sort of goal do you want for this vague yet menacing organisation? What sort of thing are they aiming towards? For the Deviant, the threat of the conspiracy is the threat of their goal. Whether that be the Deviant in and of themselves, or using the Deviant to achieve something else. Do you want to be in the frame too, kid? There you go. Blessed child. for Deviants, to quote, because I'm within Christian circles, one of the podcasts that shook up the world recently was Mars Hill, the Mars Hill podcast, which, to quote the person that they're discussing, there is a pile of dead bodies behind the bus, and it will be a mountain by the time we're done. You either get on the bus or you get run over by the bus. Those are the two options, but the bus ain't stopping. That is a conspiracy. That is the conspiracy's goal. If you're in groups like mine, where reason and rationality are actually very high focuses and greatly encouraged, your conspiracy has to be irrational. Their goal has to be the thing they're working towards. Their goal has to be... I do apologise, it's very cold here. For the conspiracy, everything about them is goal-oriented. For our friendly friend, how do they fit into that goal? How do each of the deviants of your chronicle fit into the goal? Is the most important question that you need to ask. Because the bus ain't stopping unless it is stopped. Conspiracies have origins that affect their goals and their goal setting. One could be the government. It's a government conspiracy to execute something. These government conspiracies rely on the implicit authority that they are with the government, and therefore you should do as you're told. You should obey them. They are your leaders. You should trust them. They know what's best. The corporate origin for conspiracies is really about the bottom line driving the innovation that the conspiracy represents. So, a good example of that is the Belgian Empire's influence in the Congo, where they brutally oppress the people there. All sorts of devastation. But the whole goal was to gain rubber, because the bottom line of the Belgian Empire was money. The bottom line drives corporate innovation. The next group you have is the cult, which really is the assumption that the community will provide, the community will care, the community will maintain. Cults are inherently communal. And because of that, when the community around you decides that you're the Messiah, or that you're the herald of the Messiah, or something like that, everything starts to go a little bit sideways. This is, of course, different to high society, another sort of origin, which is success by any means necessary. Many of us who play, I don't think, fit into this kind of high society bracket. We're either low middle class, or working class, and we're just looking for an escape. High society is a perfect villain for us in many ways. High society makes sure that the world maintains itself, because it is success by any means necessary. You are their success, little deviant. You are their toy. You are their everything. You are the means for greater success. Why would you flee from them? The next option is decidedly more simple, and it's criminal enterprise. Those with a more relaxed ethical rubric are more likely to utilize less ethical means. Now, all of these flow into one another at some point. Your cult may be members of a group of high society members who are trying to maintain what they've got, and maybe what they've got is a large amount of corporate profits. It doesn't really matter at that level. Make it as complex and twisted as you want, it's fine. What does matter is the inherent goal, is the inherent idea of the conspiracy. If we... Wait. If we look at Deviant, there are actually a couple of conspiracies already built for us. One of them being jungle warfare set in Darwin, of all places. Why you'd want to be there, who knows? And whilst you do get some let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the Society of Preservation. The Society of Cultural Preservation is a British Empire's desire for conquest and expansion. They are gathering stories, they are gathering information, they're pulling everything together. And they see the world around them as if the British are those who are cultivating creation, for want of a better way to describe it. Certainly cultivating divergence. When Britain imposed its civilization upon the far reaches of the world, the society preserved within its vaults everything of value they found there. This society is big. The British Empire has been dismantled for the most part. We still have the Commonwealth, but look at um, their standing as 6. This is a huge conspiracy. Their principles, their goals, to discover the secrets of past information for the future. To take what is useful, discard what is not. We don't have to be the first, but we will be the last. This is an entity that will outlast everything. This is a high society conspiracy, I would argue, because it is success by any means necessary. Those means are entire civilizations, entire cultures that can be wiped off the face of the map. It's not a problem. These guys are powerful, and they will make things work for them. Now, this leads us from origin into nodes. Nodes are a element of the conspiracy of the web of pain that makes up a conspiracy that link back in to it. If we jump back to our little example here, Yes, hello, kitten. Please, people are trying to see things. Yes, but people are trying to see you. I know, I know. As a well-entrenched conspiracy, the Society has many nodes. Some openly connected to the group's public image, others hidden in plain sight and more locked away in the shadows. Those detailed below are the most well known to the Web of Pain. The Web of Pain is this idea through Deviant that you are never done, really. It's all just part of the network. You may take out this one element here, but there's this element here that you need to fight against. You may take out one node, one small element that affects everything. Ooh. Oh, gosh. You may take out one of these nodes, but there's more around. There is more coming for you. There is always something that you missed. This is part of the fear that Deviant and the horror that Deviant is trying to inspire. It's not just that you were changed by something else outside. If you wanted that, you should play Changeling to the Lost. This shows you, the Web of Pain shows you that not only that you may not be important to the conspiracy, you may be an irritation, something that they're expending barely any resources to get back, or you may be essential because you're one of these nodes. You can see here that there are 4 basic types of node. Hierarchical nodes, like the Home Office and the Society Club, are the brains of the operations that keep subordinate nodes running. Temporal nodes are material holdings and powers. These are, this is a company, this is a maritime vessel that is responsible for shipping and trafficking. Exploitative nodes are those ways in which the conspiracy can gain influence and resources outside of their own. In a regular game, this would be represented, if you were using this for a character, this would be representative of their dots of allies, status, and contacts. SCP gets a word in. Wow. Society for Cultural Preservation, SCP. Man, I'm bright. Structural nodes are key logistical positions. These are the things that build into the world and develop it in some way. If you're used to Demon the Descent, these are very similar to how infrastructure functions. In fact, a lot of the way in which you should think of them is similar to infrastructure. Oh, little kitten. Little kitten. Such a cuddly kitten. Each one of these nodes has some sort of linchpin, which is the face of their organization. So the Society Club, the linchpin may be the president of the Society Club. Cultural outreach, social media, may be the key person who is in the videos and manages the social media account. That is the linchpin. If you pull out the linchpin, the rest of one of these nodes should crumble, in theory, or should be under enough strain and distraction that if the conspiracy wants to take any of these conspiracy actions up here, one or two of them will have to be dedicated to maintaining the node rather than becoming overwhelming for the Deviant. This is important, yeah, because conspiracies of standing 6, even standing 2 conspiracies, can feel like heavy work being put upon the player to try to prevent. However, if you take out one of these nodes, the conspiracy may have to expend an action to maintain them. And that is important. Icons. You can find a lot of this information for Darwin on 264 and around that area. But icons are things that exist within a specific node of the conspiracy and affect how the conspiracy interacts with the world around it. Okay? So, within this one, we see London backing here. If another conspiracy's hierarchical node is destroyed, the conspiracy may replace it as a Complexity 3 project. Complexity is a measure within the action taking and the action economy of the conspiracies. How you can take actions is similar to how you may take actions within a cult. Does that make sense for those of you who are in chat? You have other things here. And you can see Sebastian Irvine. That would be what we call a linchpin for the Society Club. Take out Irvine, you take out the club. So, let's take a look. Cool. Let's move on. So in building our conspiracy, we need to look at basically how we're going to do that. What we're going to do together to make this conspiracy work. We already know it's standing. Ooh. Tiny sheet, tiny sheet. It's so tiny for me. We already know it's standing. The standing of this conspiracy based on what we did a fortnight ago in building the Deviant. They had their threat level was hyperplasia. Conspiracy standing is 2. Additional deviants modify the attribute allocation that someone gets. It also modifies the additional nodes available, as each node represents a point of contact with the deviant in that case. So, I haven't done any building for this. So, we're just going to build off a few basic assumptions. Standing 2. That means we get 5 nodes at base. Now I want to distribute one of these nodes into hierarchical, one of these nodes into actually I want to distribute two of these nodes into structural. And the other two node points, if anybody wants to feed in, they're welcome. And I'll put those nodes in. I can see a few people have just jumped in. I hope that everything has made sense thus far. Here is information on nodes. So when we're in building this conspiracy, we actually have to think a little bit. What do we want this conspiracy to be about? Well, based on what we built last time, string build, which is this epimorph. So someone who, gotta get my notes up, who volunteered to help out in some way, a cephalist, so they're a psychic, and based around this feeling of I'm your friend. How I think this entity this deviant should have been within this small conspiracy, this very localized conspiracy, is this deviant was actually a node. They were an exploitative node. They were a means to get resources from outside of the conspiracy itself. So, they have no... Oops. They have 0 exploitative nodes. That means they have 2 temporal nodes through which that they can act. What is their goal? I don't know. If you're in chat, feel free to flick along an idea for this conspiracy. What is its goal within the Chronicles of Darkness? What is its aim to achieve by using this deviant to get what they want to get? Icons. No, I just shut everything down because I'm a smart boy. Smart boy. Ordinarily you would start from a concept rather than a... Good heavens. Rather than a straight leaping into conspiracy standing, but, you know. Now the book also says that in conspiracy creation, you should identify the 3 principles for the conspiracy, and a virtue and vice. If you've been around what we do a little bit, this is pretty standard. So let's take a look. Principles, virtue, vice. Virtue and vice can be anything. They're just points to be manipulated. Virtue is... I'm actually going to base this, because chat's a little quiet today. I'm going to base this off a piece of media that I've been consuming called the Magnus Archives. Something I highly recommend that you interact with if you enjoy running Chronicles or really any horror setting. They do good stuff. This conspiracy conspiracy, let's just go name is the pull is the lightless flame. Principles. Devastate all opponents to change. Devastate. Fire burns and use. Not simply destroys. No. I can spell things, I promise. And devastation comes in many forms. So this is an aggressive conspiracy. This is the sort of thing that has a lot of things that will cause problems, probably physical problems for our social character. Their virtue is thorough. They will leave no stone unturned, no heart unburnt. Their vice is violence. If you can incite a member of this cult into violence, you get a benefit. So hierarchical. The leadership, you were going to be exploitative. Temporal, material holdings and powers, a mercenary company. And, there was a bloke a year ago who got his face into onto my Facebook feed because what he would do is he would go into companies, he would strip them of assets, he would then sell the hollow company on because he'd figured out that doing this makes more money for him. I think he was some sort of, we'll go in venture capitalist, resource expansion. Structural. These are the logistical positions that they hold. Let's take a bit of inspiration for this. Let's jump back. Structural nodes, logistical portions responsible for keeping it running. So these would be structural would be the entities that target acquisition and allocation. So some sort of organization that watches what people are doing and goes and says, okay, this little organization here doesn't have much, go in, make sure it has even less. And that we gain everything from it. The other structural one needs to be, I think, a lobbyist organization. This is an organization that doesn't lobby themselves, but ensures that organizations represent their best interests. This is a fund washing sort of entity. This is actually a concerning conspiracy. The icon is... So each one of these will have to have a linchpin of some sort. Leadership, the herald, person who tells everybody what to do, the mercenary company, the captain, venture capitalist resource expansion, there's they need to be someone within it. Lobbyist Organization is easier. They need to be the banker. The analyst and the stripper. Person who strips everything back. They could also, work the pole every so often. You never know. And it would be rude to impose our principles upon them. Next we have icons. Each one of these icons is tied to one of its nodes. Ideally you would work together with the players to create this icon. In this case, the conspiracy icon is going to be, I don't know, something that you guys can feed into in chat. Or let me think. An object or individuals under the sway of the conspiracy that give them access to unique powers or abilities. A simple icon. The councillor. A councillor in the local municipality that all they do is they sit around and make sure that the conspiracy doesn't get interfered with from a political level, imposing negatives onto dice pools to investigate and isolate the activities of these structural organisations. Pretty simple. Base attribute points. Attributes for these things are power, finesse, and resistance. Power, finesse, and resistance. Let's take a look-see. This is based on this earlier table, so they get 10 attributes to distribute with a trait maximum of 5. So they can't go above 5 in either one of these. This is a 5 dot in power, 4 dot in resistance, and 1 dot in finesse conspiracy. Because I think it's funny that this conspiracy is just all about maxing out power. can then add other conspiracies to this and map it into the network of pain. Um, Conspiracies are also able to develop um, actions that they put to things. We only get one action for this one, and the principal action for this will be acquire information related to the lost node player character. That's it. That is literally all you have to do to make a conspiracy. There's a few more mechanical things that you can get into, like you can make sure that the icon has actually mechanical representation and that sort of thing. But at this point, that's all you need. Conspiracies exist to make their goal known, whatever that goal may be. And they are single-minded in achieving that goal. Once again, to quote the Mars Hill podcast, there are a pile of dead bodies behind the bus, and it will be a mountain by the time we're done. You either get on the bus, or you get run over by the bus. Those are the two options, but the bus ain't stopping. That is the feel that a conspiracy should have. Presently, I'm playing in a game where a Deviant is a key character element. And the power that is thrown into the Deviant is by the conspiracy. Like this, the conspiracy in that game, I imagine, is conspiracy 8 or 9. It has otherworldly influences. Hell, it may even be conspiracy 10. But this conspiracy is simple. That's all you need. It's a quarter of a page at most. And you have an entity that is terrifying to deal with. Absolutely terrifying. And the nodes that we're getting access to in game are also hilariously terrifying. Alright, I've got a heap of things to do and I've been running ragged this week, so I'm going to stop stream there. For those of you who tuned in, thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate your presence, and I appreciate the feedback from anyone. Yeah, but we're gonna. I'm gonna jump off, and I'm gonna try to live my life. To stay up to date with anything related to the Onyx Path, the Onyx Path Discord can be found on any of their social media platforms. And that's a great place to chat, to meet up with people, and to get to know others who are a part of this community who plays these games. Check out our Kickstarter for any additional things. I don't remember what week we're on for the bonuses from Drive-Thru RPG. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe, stay warm, and yeah, have a good one.